Peace, 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 peace. We ain't talk about nothing. I just gonna ask a few questions. Knowledge is supposed to be an accumulated body of facts. And if you look at that as a metaphor, the body of facts is you. Anything that's coming out of you should be a fact, right? You shouldn't be living off of lies. Because that's when we talking about this knowledge that you're utilizing, it becomes your foundation that you're standing upon. You feel what I'm saying? So we gotta look so far in and find what's factual, what's actually a fact to us. Not just what sounds good, this person is saying, what that person is saying, because we have a lot of individuals that it seems like they're trying to deter us from what we need to be doing. You know what I'm talking about? An individual that will tell you, hey, this is going on, that's going on. It really don't matter what's going on unless you are aware of what's going on with you. You couldn't change what was going on in the world if you can't make a shift from within. Some people got health issues. Some people got mental health issues. Some people got real life issues or whatever that they need to be dealing with. And when we are told a lot of different information, all of these frequencies or whatever you want to call it or whatever, it sounds so good and we can get lost in that information. The most important thing is healing the self. That's where we got lost at. Us woke people, whatever, we didn't damn near romanticize this as well. Because we done forgot about the most important fact. The most important fact is looking within and healing ourselves from within. We talk so much about what done happened to us, what we done been through, yada yada yada. As a people, we done been damaged. We done been through a lot, trials and tribulations. You feel what I'm talking about? We ain't seen as a people us getting back together. Not to say it won't happen, but it has to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere. We have the power of manifestation, wisdom, the application of one's knowledge. The things that we find inside of us that works, and we apply that to our day-to-day lives, it brings upon a mental image, an understanding or understanding, if that's what you want to call it. We can go so far as to say the man and the woman coming together and creating a child, but we're talking about the one individual. Some people they be want to be quick to have a child. It's the same thing with the information. I want instant gratification right away, but you got to start from the ground up. We gotta dig so far deep into our chakras, get our chakras in line. We gotta deal with our shadow. Religion, they done definitely made our shadow, they done demonized our shadow and ways to access it. It don't matter what you resonate with. How is it helping you? We so caught up into this person gotta be with me. That person gotta be with me. They not saying what I'm saying. They not saying what I'm saying. What if they're saying something that you do resonate with? They're just not saying 100%. So what you do, you take the information. You don't know what an individual is doing in their household on a day-to-day basis. All we know is what people project. And that's all they want to do is project. whether it be positive or negative, however they deem. So when we learn something, the first thing we want to do is, I want to learn this, I want to go teach this, I want to go teach this. How about trying to teach from within, as far as in the home, the family, yourself? When you reflect that outwardly, right, then your neighbor, they see that you showing improving, and they start to go and do the same thing, and so forth and so forth. It ain't gonna be, oh man, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing this, because you quote unquote can't teach a dog new tricks. These not new tricks that we learning. These are old ways that's innate inside of us, dormant, that we activated. We are a people that are living a life of, let's say, the modern man. We're not the modern man. No, we always had an ancient mind. We are an ancient species. The people or the person, the humanity aspect is just to have an experience. And everyone's experience is personal and unique to them. Okay? I don't care if I sound like a broken record, because it seemed to me that we forgot what we was doing here when we dealing with spirituality. Okay, we didn't have many hundreds of different conscious individuals, conscious leaders coming through, what you want to call them, ascended masters, chiefs, whatever. They come through and they give y'all great knowledge. And what do we do right after that? Right after they take them away from us, any and everybody, what do? We religify what they said. We utilize what they say religiously. We venerate them, right, to deity level. Now, we know we all gods, right? But we do it in a way you damn near might as well put an altar up, right? When they taught against that, and you was for that, but now we don't have that focal point anymore. The focal point is within. This is what I'm saying. It's going to continue to happen if we don't look inside of ourselves. We've been given hope for however long you want to put it, because there's so many different schools of thought that will teach that form of understanding. I'm telling you to put the power back inside of your hands, your own hands, right? All of the ones that has that dissatisfaction toward the religion that we was being fed for the past thousands of years, 6,000, 5,000 years, however you want to put it, right? Now, it's pretty much the same thing if you look at it. These spiritual people, these conscious people that come in and that's quote unquote trying to free us or whatever, if you really listen to what they're saying, they're truly saying to free yourself. What most individuals are doing are trying to guide you into basically a cult or a religion. And if you are conscious and aware of yourself, right, don't fall for that. The system exists within inside of you, right? The shift is going to be made from a conscious perspective, subconscious perspective. That's what's going to change the reality. Everybody talking about the reality going to change this, that, and the third. Woo. You got to get on the frequency. How can you get in the frequency? You got to learn yourself. We don't have a system anymore, right? That everybody's going to go to, and what do you call that? It's just going to be, everything is going to be okay. That's not how that works. So if anybody is pushing that right now in this day and age, ask yourself, what's really going on for real, for real? Because if that's the case, right, what makes this group wrong? What makes this group right? What makes that group wrong, or what makes that group right? If all the information is one, It shouldn't be no individual pushing one thing is what I'm getting at. And that seems to be the case still in the age of information. Y'all don't see what's going on? Or we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to have that discussion. I want to have that discussion. Because if that's the case, we might well stop what we're doing and go back to doing what we've been doing. Stop playing around with it. Because what is it that you playing around with? Yourself. You know how you work out? And then if you got a good trainer, and like, you're not cheating me, you cheating yourself. When I was in the joint and I was working out, I'm lifting them heavy ass weights. They like, look, you're not cheating me, Joe. You cheating yourself if you're not hitting the reps right. And that's the truth. You're not cheating nobody else but yourself. Who are you truly making happy? Are you making yourself happy with what you're doing? I mean truly. You know what I'm saying? We limit ourselves into believing that certain things that just happen to us, certain things that happen to us or whatever, it just happens just because it happens, and it just is what it is, and there's nothing we can do about it. But then we go about life saying that we're gods. If we are gods, that means we can do whatever we want to do. The basis of it is not no one system. The basis of it, right? The most fundamental thing of it is understanding your mind, right? Then we know who he is. Scientifically, metaphysically, we know who he is. That gives us the mental capacity to hold all of this information. So how you gonna do it? How you gonna do it, and what's in there? What's stored in there that you stored in there over the millennia? We dealing with the last past, let's say we dealing with the last past 6,000 years. That's what we're dealing with right now. That didn't happen on this physical plane. Who have you been these last past 6,000 years outside of who you are right now? How could that help you with who you are right now? Does that even matter to you? And if it does, right, that's where you should be looking. Not waiting for the next person to tell you, listen, this is what it is. This is the system. This is how we finna be doing it. Ooh. No. Society taught you like that. And that's fine. That's cool. But we got a way of doing things. Some of us, we gain consciousness, right? We go from being a Christian or whatever, and now I'm a God, I'm this, I'm that. But the gods that you utilize it in a sectarian fashion, a religious way, meaning it's just this and only this. That's how a religious person would do it. They won't step outside of that to gain no other information. It just is what it is, even if they didn't understand what it was inside of that particular doctrine, meaning not reading it all the way through or just period. You know what I'm saying? Culturally, you could have just grew up in that, like a lot of us, right? So it sounds cool. I'm going against the government. I don't want to be a part of this religion. I'm rebellious or whatever and all that stuff or whatever. Sometimes, a lot of times we say that or whatever is because of how we came up, how we was brought up. We have familiar issues with our family, parents, and all types of other stuff that we have to deal with. This is what I mean by shadow. So it doesn't just mean, like spirituality. It doesn't just mean the all of the teachings and this, that, and the third or wherever. The greatest teaching is understanding yourself. We utilize the teachings to understand ourselves, right? But remember, you have to remember. Remember only means to put together. So remembering your upbringing, as well as applying the knowledge to that. You know what I'm talking about? To bring upon a greater understanding as to why this happened to me. Why did I go through this? Why am I like this? Why do I think like this? Why do I act like this? Why am I experiencing this? Somebody telling you like this is what it is and this is what you should be looking out for, but I'm having this experience. What about that? It makes you not pay attention to that aspect, which is way more important than what an individual outside of yourself will be telling you. And nobody wanna talk about that. Everybody wanna sit around and go to a church or something. And why church? I'm not saying the actual church, but shit, because we ain't talking about the religious people. I'm talking about the people that claim to be conscious. We want to sit around a church, basically. That's what we do. We want to create a new church. Ain't gonna be no system. Why? Because look at what the system's done to us. So we have the law of rhythm, the law of the complements. All these are hermetic laws. Okay? Now, all that just means is whatever happens one way will happen the same way, right? In a different fashion, in a different polarity, but the same energy of it, the same duration of it, it will happen. That's why I was saying we came from a high, right? And we went through all of this. We're going to rise up to a high again. But in this third dimension, it's going to continue to happen. Oh, but I'm going to rise up to the fourth and fifth dimension. Baba, I ain't going to stay here. Well, if you leaving from the third dimension to the fourth and fifth dimension, trust and believe it's the same fucking matrix. What are we in right now? We are in the excrement of the spiritual realm, the fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension is the excrement of the fifth. You catch my drift? That's not how it is. You been there? Everybody's experience is different and subjective, but it would be the same thing. You would have the same type of experience. This is the same place. This is like walking outside your house. Anybody and everybody can experience this. There is no, oh, well, you got to read this and you got to do this. You got to do that. You ain't got to do nothing to go inside of yourself. Everybody telling you anything else is distracting you and trying to distract you. Not trying to hear it. It pisses me off that we get up here. We want to help our people. We want to do this. We want to do that. We want to do this. You really want a person to follow you for real, for real. You're not telling the person how you got this. Anybody can pick a book up and read a book. All of these books and all this information, like I said 1,000 times, it come outside of yourself. So all that means is if you want an authentic, subjective, meaning it's only unique to you. That's what subjective means. We take that in a negative way. So if you want an authentic version of what's really going on, let's say I want to know the beginning. That's your question. I want to know the beginning because we don't know what we want to ask. We don't have the questions. We want somebody to answer them for us. So let's just say this right here. For example, I want to know the beginning. You sit down, you ground yourself, find a quiet place, right? This is the same thing a book will tell you, right? But the book not going to explain to you what's really going on. The book going to take something else from a different mythology, this, that, and third, or whatever that the author put together, right? It's not going to tell you what your mind is going to tell you. So you can read a book and you can sit down and you can practice or whatever, which I recommend, because what's going to happen is you're going to experience something totally different. It may be similar because due to the doctrine that you took in or whatever and all of that, but you get what I'm saying. Listen, man. What is we really doing here? You start asking questions like that to yourself, and you start to get different answers. And I think when individuals get those answers right, they equate it and correlate it to the masses. I'm not saying you can. I'm not saying you can't. I feel like you shouldn't. Because I personally understand anything that comes outside of an individual is their truth. While it is subjective, I will never argue that. Because if somebody is utilizing that to better their lives, right, and conduct this godly business, you get what I'm saying? Why take that away from them? Down to the mundane, down to going to somebody's house and them having a picture of Christ up there or the Buddha. They pictured that as a symbol of protection. So down to the mundane level, to the poltergeist spirits. You feel what I'm talking about? Which is like just disembodied spirits, just displaced spirits that just didn't get to make it to their actually their the OGG spirits. You feel what I'm talking about? So shadows. It works versus what we doing. You feel what I'm talking about? This is the different amulets that you will utilize as a spiritual individual. It's the same thing. But it's based upon mental power. Why is it based upon mental power? Because it's all about what you know. You know this to be able to protect you. It's all about having that knowing. You know this. I know this works. I know how this works. I know how to conduct this, things of that nature. Not assuming. You don't assume. God knows. You know all. Everybody, the people that do, when they tell you to go within, this is what they mean. Truly. You can read about your brain, read about the 12 carnal nerves, right? That's conducive with the zodiac. And the zodiac are animal spirits. We don't like to deal with the animal nature, but why did the ancients have like hieroglyphics with human heads or with human bodies and animal heads? The animals never change. The mentality of an animal never changes. You know what I'm talking about? And you will find it funny how similar the nature, like the actual nature of the animals and quote unquote human beings is. You feel what I'm talking about? Human beings are gonna change all the time. We supposed to evolve. It's the what do you call that? It's the main goal. You having an experience. You feel what I'm talking about? Creation. Ain't nothing new happening in creation. It's the same thing. It's cycles going over and over. The seasons, the years, the days, all that. Those are cycles. That's creation. So nothing's never going to change besides you. You feel what I'm talking about? The soul. You can form. You can be formed. You can be shaped. But who is shaping you? If somebody is telling you what to do, how to do it, what you should be doing, because if you don't do this, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I don't care who it is. If it ain't came up out of you, right? If it ain't came about you and you experienced it, right, then damn near it ain't gonna bother you for real, for real. Once you place yourself in that awareness, once you place yourself in that perception or whatever, then it tends to affect you. That's the crazy part about this thing. Some people don't even know what's really going on for real, and they won't even never get affected. Now, how you perceive it, if you are having these premonitions, right? What you perceive, you might perceive something quick happening or whatever. Whoop, this just happened, and they were just all going cool. But those individuals don't live on this frequency. They don't know what's going on. That's why they'd be so quick to throw a scripture at you, put an amulet up at you, or whatever. They don't know, but you know. You don't react like that. You shouldn't, at least. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, the world literally crumbling right now, and ain't nobody creating their own thing. All of these teachings, laws, codes, or whatever were set in play so that all the chosen, all of the original people that was aware in that time can utilize it. You feel what I'm talking about? To have the best experience in that time. And the best experience to you, to him, to her, to whatever is completely unique to every individual. The path is never the same. Even when dealing with the same system, the path is never the same. Are we creating bots? Is that what we're trying to create here? Are we dealing with creator spirits, creator energies? The God or the creator is a demiurge. A demiurge is a lesser deity, lesser than that which you are, the primordial being that sits atop of everything with the bird's eye view. Are we creating robots? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm asking. As a spiritual person, as an original individual that's on this planet, right? Indigenous, what you want to call it. All this information is ours to be utilized for us. Now we understand that it's ours. We understand that we're all one. So as that peaceful being, that divine being, we shouldn't be, you wouldn't be infringing on nobody else. We know that it's individuals that's lost, right? And we know it's individuals that's aware of this, that opposes this, right? What does that really? What does that even matter though? None of that matter if you ain't cool. If you don't know how to protect yourself as a spiritual individual, right? You tend to want to be spiritual. What do I mean? I mean, for however long you've been on this planet, this realm, um, you've been thought you was a human. So you've been dealing with your physical body, your physical existence. You ain't dealing with the spirit. Now you dealing with the spirit. Now the chi, the ashe, you feel I'm talking about, the prana, the sekim that you consuming in or whatever is actually being utilized and maneuvered around your body, right? You meditating. You dealing with your chakras. You feel what I'm saying? You raising up your vibration so that your aura can be strong, your electromagnetic field. You feel what I'm talking about? Or your human resonance field, the movement around you, the light that's moving, that's connected to your emotions, i.e. your chakras. You doing all of this. Your emotions, right? Having control over self, the mind, right, is your power. Down to the physical, you know. When they be like, oh, you gotta be calm, or you gotta be like this, you gotta be that. They even say that when you meditate, you gotta sit there, you gotta breathe. Why nigga always lose his lighter? Oh, but yeah, that's what's going on here. We not talking about that. We talking about religion. You know what I'm saying? Bro, why is we still talking about religion, bro? Straight up. Ask me that. You've been given religion for however many years, and then you've been given leaders. That's not what they was, because we all one. Ain't nobody leading you. These were just people that coming telling you what's going on, right? And what we do? Well, they did say this, they did say that, as far as the scriptures go and all that stuff. So, they're not here no more to tell us different. Well, we just gonna treat him like an angel, treat him like a god or whatever. When in actuality, you more than God. It's deeper than that. Gods don't deal with religions. Religion and the mystery system is explaining, right, the attributes, the inner makings, the functioning, the mythology of what God is. You're not a God. You're higher than that. In our minds, we believe that a God exists. So now a God exists. We have a thing called egregores. So for those that feel like, well, Jesus don't exist or no, none of this exists, it couldn't it could have didn't exist, right? But the fact that you believe in it and a lot of people believe in it or whatever, right? It gives it energy. Things are thoughts and thoughts are things. Everything that you see around you was once a thought. It once existed in a spiritual realm or the mental plane. Therefore, the duality of it all. That's only dealing with this reality right here. Now, dualism is a good thing. We deal in dualism to understand the both halves of who and what we are, right? But we take both halves of who and what we are and create a new, right? You you raise that light that's inside of you, right? That kundalini, all the way up to the highest point of what you are. Then you become androgynous. You become one. Androgynous don't mean two beings. It means one being, the pineal and the pituitary. Of course, we have beings like that. But where do you think it came from? Because in this unpolarized state of matter, both energies still exist. And it still exists inside of you. We don't want to talk about that. We comfortable with a religion. We comfortable with a system that's already created for us. To be a God, you got to know the ins and outs of it. You got to know how to create realms and universes, right? But that sounds fun and peachy, right? But you got to deal with your emotions first. You got to deal with what makes you tick, what makes you laugh, what makes you happy. Oh, you can't be happy because in the religion you in the system you in or whatever, they said you can't deal with this. I shouldn't be dealing. I shouldn't be listening to that. I shouldn't be watching this. That's not divine. Don't you know that you're the original person? You the original beings of this planet. Anything and everything that you do is divine. Anything and everything that you do is divine. You have to find the divinity of it. You're not gonna never be able to do that if someone is telling you, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. If it in your heart is to be in religion and do that, then so be it. You know what I'm talking about? That's what it is. But for the ones that turn away because they found that dissatisfaction, I'm telling you, don't turn into another. The system is within. That don't mean don't get no knowledge from nobody, but the system is from within. Prana is chi, ashe, sekim, many different words for it. Energy that move in the air. Those people that don't eat, that call themselves breatharians, they not living off breath or air. They living off of that. But prana is a, what do you call that? That's just another word for it. The most ancient word is sekim. It just means vital force, vital life force. When you hear prana, you familiar with prana and you familiar with chi. And you familiar with people when they say ashe. We just say ashe, but all that means is life force, vital force, power. But we're not actually saying power. This is actually a power that exists, a vital force for real, for real. That's why I say Sekhem, because that's literally what it means. It's what feeds your spirit body. It will let your magnetic body, right? It can be fed through positivity, negativity, all of that. You feel what I'm saying? Because everything has energy to it. Words, thoughts, objects, everything. What I'm saying is What are you feeding on to? What do you feed into? You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm getting at. If we in the age of information, that means all information is no holds barred. I could be utilizing this because they make it seem like we living in the last days. Okay, cool, we living in the last days. What that mean? That mean you need to be getting everything that you can right now. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking to no religious people because they don't want to hear that. They don't even want to. They don't even want to talk. They really think you just out here just acting crazy. And if you is, that's cool. That's your experience. That's what I'm saying. We be too busy worried about what the next individual is doing. You know what I'm talking about? That's not what it is. You gotta let people do them. You feel what I'm talking about? You gotta let people do them. You can't be trying to what do you call that? You can't be trying to deter a person from their purpose. A lot of people don't know what their purpose is. A lot of people don't know what their purpose is and are afraid to admit that to themselves. Because it really don't matter if you admit it to somebody else, that this, that, and the third or whatever. Because you never know nowadays. The energy is rising. So you never know who and what a person is and what a person is on, what their intentions is. That's why truly you gotta just go within. And it could be hard sometimes because we done been we done been so away from ourselves. We can't sit down in the dark. We can't sit down when it's quiet. You know what I'm talking about? We can't have a sober mind. You know, we done been like that for a long, long, long time. We stimulate ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But we got the willpower to be able to do it is what I'm getting at. And when you do it, you're gonna realize some things. You know what I'm talking about? And some of those things gonna make you step outside of people. You know what I'm talking about? People you thought you knew, people you thought you loved. You're not gonna never realize this when you're around individuals that's vibrating lower than what you are. You know what I'm saying? And just because you find yourself in a predicament, like, some people they be like in fucked up situations or whatever. They be like, well, maybe it just think, nah, you got you got the energy to be able to deal with this information. You know what I'm talking about? That's what's gonna get you out of your situation. It's gonna teach you to trust in yourself. You know what I'm talking about? When all thus fails, you understand that you have a hand in what's going on in your life. You know what I'm talking about? So a lot of times when you're going through the things that you technically don't like and it's just not comfortable in your life or whatever, it's literally all of it's a lesson. But the hardest lessons is the things that you go through or whatever. Because obviously you're gonna know not to do it again. You know what I'm talking about? And if you're smart, when you are on that high and you start to witness the the um the similarities from the past of when you was going through it, because it's gonna reoccur again. The law of rhythm. Um, you understand how to regain a sort of balance. You know what I'm talking about? So you don't fall back down again. You don't get that way by obviously being taught. You was taught in school for however long you went to school. You know what I'm saying? So all these religions are doing now, they're trying to teach you how to be a certain way. The best way to learn is learn your mannerisms, your mentality, how you think and act. You know what I'm talking about? And how that interacts with the world. You know what I'm saying? So you learn yourself, you learn people too, because it's certain individuals that don't don't deal or mix with your energy. You shouldn't be around them. You feel what I'm talking about? Call it taboos, just things that you just don't do. You know what I'm saying? Things I don't do, things I shouldn't do. Why? Because these things aren't going to get me to where I need to be. And while that sounds crazy, we have to make the sacrifices. Oh, I don't want to do that. I could do this, I could do that. If you could do it, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you? And we know why. It's not going to just happen for us. You know what I'm talking about? Because we believe. If you thought that, then you was crazy. Because watch this. You was told. in the religion that what was going to happen, whatever, whoever was going to happen, and you believed it and it never did, and then now you're here. Now you're in this live lecture. You're here in that road in life. You just said somebody say something you don't like, get up out of there, walk away. What respect or anything do you owe them? It ain't like you saying fuck you or attacking them. You know what I'm talking about? But you take it like this: you are magnetic. You are a sponge. So just because you're not listening, right? You want to be listening and aware of what's going on around you. So then, if it's something that you don't resonate with, you don't take it in. If somebody talking to you and you're not listening, right? It surpasses and skips your ego and gets into your subconscious mind. Now you program right there, and it's easy as that. And if you don't think that's what's going on, you're crazy. Subliminals and all of that. So they talk about them subliminals and all of that stuff or whatever, right? Now they're talking about putting, what do you call that, commercial ads inside of your dreams. How? I have no clue. But why is it a discussion is what I'm saying. Why is that even a thing? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about here. Why? Because I don't know who this guy is. I never even heard of him. Why is this guy even talking about putting commercial ads in y'all dreams? Y'all meaning minds too, our dreams. Why is they talking about that? Why is that even a thing? That's not important. That's not important, man. I'm telling you. So when the individual telling you to, like me, I'm telling you to look into yourself. I don't care how it sounds. That's selfish. You got to be selfish. You feel what I'm saying? What is selfish? Do you think selfish is going out and what's that word? Infringing. I'm gonna keep saying it. Infringing on someone else, to like getting over on somebody else, to get what's that word? To get by in life. No, you would never make it doing that. I'm saying sometimes you got to be like, hey, I ain't kicking it right now, or no, that's just not what I'm getting into, or no, can let me borrow $50? I ain't got it right now. I got to pay this, or I just because sometimes we be lying. I ain't got it. I don't have it to give to you. I actually have things going on, or I just don't want to give it to you. You know what I'm talking about? Well, we got to share out of the kindness of our heart. We got to listen. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. We are grown individuals. Then we say we gods. I'm trying to get us to understand the bigger picture here. The bigger picture here is that we are in control of every last decimal fraction of our life. In control of every last fraction of our life. I'm talking about from the beginning to what you would call the end, right? If you call yourself a god, that is what's going on here with your reality. But it's other gods that will tell you that this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and that's going to happen. Let me tell you this. It can. How can it? It's based upon belief. You're the all powerful. And all of this comes out of you. So whatever you deal with, right? You structure that reality inside of you, especially if it goes to your heart. That's what you want, right? But systematically, because we got so many of them, so many systems, we didn't create it in a physical world. Now, the divine aspect of it, or the spiritual counterpart, exists in the mental plane, especially because individuals believe it. You feel what I'm talking about? For as many individuals that deal with a system, you know what I'm talking about, it gives that system power. What how do you think the system it still exists as far as people are still worshiping and dealing with the information, because we do have dead religions, meaning you literally gotta go inside of yourself. So like when people be talking about like the Goetia or the lesser keys and greater keys of Solomon or whatever, the 72 negative spirits or whatever that's inside of your pineal gland. Um, that's literally something that you have to do for yourself. You can't go nowhere to do that or whatever. It's considered a dead system. You know what I'm saying? So you have religions that's still quote unquote alive, and you have religions that's quote unquote dead. You know, but now energy never dies, right? We said this. So it's dormant. I mean, you have to rise it up inside you. And a lot of these systems that don't exist no more, whatever, are the systems that they demonized, that existed way before the ones that we dealing with right now. And watch this. Let me tell you this: if if we allow them, by them, you know what I mean. If we allow them to do what they're trying to do, um, what we are talking about right now will be the next thing. You see what I'm talking about? And what we speaking against will be demonized, right? But the same thing that we went through, our descendants are gonna go through, unless we figure out what's going on inside of our mind. Each and every one of us plays a big part in what's going on, right? And we don't play a part being a motherfucking puppet. We play a part being a god in the pantheon of gods, in the greatest story of all, life, basically. Because that's what we came here to do. We came here to live and have an experience. You feel what I'm talking about? And take it back. Take it back somewhere where you can't do this. They're not saying that. They want to stay here. Here in the physical, here in the matrix. Some people want to come back. Some people want to transcend. Right? The ancients never talked about transcending. The ancients always talked about descending inside of an underworld, a netherworld, the duat, the amenti, the amenta. You feel what I'm talking about? They talked about going to this quantum reality um in their meditations after quote unquote transcending from here. They talked about doing that and getting so much knowledge, gaining knowledge, living there, doing all type of things. You feel what I'm saying? What is this? This ain't no heaven. This ain't no hell, right? It ain't got nothing to do with no religion. It's not no matrix. It's the other side of your subconscious mind. Why is it that the system stopped talking about that? I already said we didn't created these astral planes, these heavenly realms, these different dimensions. We created these realms, wherever, to not come here. But now we still talking about going and just living in those places. Which you can, that's cool. It's not the end all be all. The end all be all is creating your own reality. Are you scared to create your own reality? Are you afraid? If you need someone to give you a body of knowledge, right, to go about life, that foundation will not be strong enough, right, for you to stand upon in your quote unquote afterlife ascension. Because we just in school right now. We just fermenting. The scared beetle pushing the dome, right? And inside the dome, you got the eggs and it rises out. That's you. But what you take in, will it be able to hold you up? If do you truly believe in that? Have you truly understood that, like, and took it in to the heart? You know what I'm saying? Fuck what you trying to show people. Fuck what you show people. What do you show yourself, and how do you feel about yourself? That's the thing right there. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody said that to me. I don't even want to talk to nobody. People be want to talk to me. I don't want to talk. Because what they want to talk about, what's going on in the world. I don't care about what's going on in the world. You feel me? Can't nobody tell me why I came here. I know why I came here. That's the thing. What's that to share? Generally, we say an experience. Okay, cool. But personally, what is that experience? I know. I know what my personal experience is. And it's definitely not to be a part of a religion. Join a religion, do some, do this, what none of that. It's gonna be great. It's cool. Right now it's taking a toll on a nigga, but I'm just saying, it is what it is. That's what I came here for. You get me? Ain't none of us come here to be held down, bro. None of us. Ain't none of us came here to be held down. You gotta be like, nah, yeah, man, nah, for real, man. I feel like this like the realest thing ever because um we don't, we read books, and that's like the greatest thing because self education is the best education. But we read books, but we didn't been taught a certain way how to learn. You get what I'm talking about? So you have to do a little mixture. You know what I'm saying? You got to meditate. You got to take this. You got to take that, or whatever. You can't really take it all the way by the book. A lot of people be taking it all the way by the book, and a lot of things, right? When they have their experiences, whatever, will line up, whatever, because they believe it so much. You know what I'm saying? You have certain individuals that take psychedelics, and most of us believe in God, so like in like a religion. So when they take the psychedelics or whatever, what do you think appears to them? What they believed in, the closest thing that they had to spirituality. That's the way to look at it. You know what I'm talking about? Now us, knowledge is power. When I say us, I'm talking about us because those individuals, like it or not, it don't matter what it is, they only go off of one book. It is what it is. You don't see a religious person, somebody that's gonna try to argue with you, reading other things or trying to find other understandings, even on to that one little doctrine. You don't find it. They have the Bible and that's it, or whatever else. You know what I'm talking about? And maybe it's a sin to read out against. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Because I don't get involved in that. You know, when things repress you like that, you be depressed. You feel me? You have ways about yourself that you need to express. You get me? And whatever that is, you need to do that in peace and harmony, and let nobody what's that word, deter you. That's what people trying to do right now, deter you, whether they understand it or not. And the crazy thing is, listen, let me tell you how the spirit be playing. No, the spirit ain't like this. You don't know the spirit. Then if a person say this, they don't know the spirit, because how many spirits you think exist? So, anyways, the spirit be allowing certain individuals to distract certain individuals. So, a lot of the spirits, right, that's on our side, not on our side, all that, we all look alike, right? They are manifest to you, and we still look alike. And then at the highest point of who we are, we still look alike. So it's all one big game. When I be like, figure out what it is and who you are, like who you was dealing with, what you was dealing with, or whatever, you got to figure out what part you play in this. You feel what I'm talking about? Because when you start acting that role out, then life just starts functioning for you. You know what I'm talking about? Then ain't nothing gonna stop, because then you have certain individuals that be like, listen, I'm finna just be here, and every time I come through here, I'm gonna just be regular, because I'm just gonna take in everything in the background. What we doing is, let's say we cameras, you feel what I'm saying? We accumulating a lot of information, right? Now, certain individuals is here to do a certain job, for show, right? But if you held down here, you ain't gonna be able to do what you supposed to do over there, or over there, yada yada yada. You know what I'm talking about? This is what I'm saying. Certain individuals come with so much power, whatever, it be the spirits behind them. You feel what I'm talking about? Good spirits too. I'm talking about real individuals when I say spirits. That was here once before, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's still here. Because watch this. The ancestral realm still exists here in the matrix. You have access to it, do you not? You know what I'm talking about? So because that or whatever, right? They still quote unquote want to exist. When the ancestors come speak through us, well, you don't think they selfish or not? So it has to be for some for quote unquote good cause or whatever is what I'm saying. They speak through us. So yes, if if you pushing something that will distract individuals, keep y'all here or whatever and all that stuff, they're gonna ride behind you and do all that. Yes, they'll do all that. You know what I'm talking about? Because they're gonna feed off that and take that. They can do all that. So you gotta be mindful of who you're dealing with. See, people that's religious be like, don't deal with that because they're demons. You never know who you're dealing with, dude. You know what I'm talking about? You never know who you're dealing with, for real, for real. It works both ways for all of us. Because watch this, they're all aspects of the mind, right? And the most primordial thing is this. You have the primordial beings, or what you call the elder gods, and then you have the gods. Anything that you would call a god, all of these spirits or whatever, right? These spirits, the Neteru, the Olympian, the Orisha, all of them, right? The Norse gods. Those are supposed to be the children of the primordial beings. When they destroyed them, not killed them, destroyed them, because you never, you know what I'm saying? They turned all that energy, the essence of that, into this physical reality, as well as the bodies that you live in. You get what I'm saying? So in other terms, you had one one supreme energy and one lesser energy, right? And the tables turned, right? So the shift that we living in right now, when everybody talking about the energy is rising up and all that stuff, that's what's really going on here. You know what I'm talking about? The quote unquote gods, or the forces of nature, this, that, and the third. At one point in time, and before existence or whatever, we were the quote unquote forces of nature. This is why you have control over them, because they always existed inside of you still. You feel what I'm talking about? All of this is us, and then the quote unquote gods and goddesses or whatever, right, exists inside of us still. This is why you're able to access it. You feel what I'm saying? But the difference is, right? The difference is the spirits, the gods, the goddesses, whatever you want to call them, they act as forces of nature. This is why the net we call it a Neteru, nature, or Neteru. It's just nature, right? So you rising up is saying that you are stepping back into control of the forces of nature, the forces of the universe, and everything. That's what that's saying. If I'm talking about as a whole, that's what we doing. Because as above, so below, as within, so without. So anything that's going on in the universe or whatever is happening inside of us. It's been happening inside of us, right? But what you believe is projected, right, outwardly into reality. It forms this reality or whatever. So if someone is telling you how it should be and what to expect or whatever, right? Whatever you take in or whatever, you're going to be expecting that and you're going to manifest that. That is not what it is. What does that do? That further and further and further along anchors us here and continues this cycle. We don't want to continue this cycle. Tell me, right? Tell me what else is there for us to do. We didn't build ships, we didn't build pyramids, we didn't been here, we didn't been there, we didn't travel all throughout the galaxy and the universe. We know this. We've documented it. You know what I'm talking about? We got monuments here and there. We left remnants of us everywhere that we didn't been. What is we doing? What are we fighting over? We ain't thought about that. Or as I'm talking crazy. No, bro, you talking crazy because ain't nowhere to go after this. You right. Just the last step to see, are you ready to truly be a God? Because you can't express yourself. And when I mean by express yourself now, I'm talking about being a God. You can't express yourself for real, being a God here. I mean, you think you really finna be doing what you really could be doing here in this physical body? No. Or we gonna raise the vibration of the earth. The earth gonna do what it's gonna do regardless. You feel what I'm saying? It's gonna do what it's gonna do regardless. You gotta raise your vibration up if you still want to exist here. Because at one point in time, the vibration was high. That's why we was doing what we was doing and able to exist. Then it got low. And then we got low. We was tall. Now we not tall no more. We short. We getting back little. But if you pay attention to what's really going on, the primordial beings, the titans, they were giants, Nephilim, all of that stuff, right? And now we not, because that's we the same. That's when they talking about the Nephilim and all that, they talking about us. So we not giants no more. And then we getting smaller and smaller because we going back to that quantum reality, light particles, something you can't see with the physical eye. I'm telling you. How it began, or how it began is how it will end. The same way. I'm telling you. So it started off with darkness, which is, people be scared when you say that, but it's not darkness. It's the unseen light that you don't see, right? You see the sun, you see this ball of fire, and you feel the rays off of it. The rays is actual light as well. They had a tomb ray, and they had Ra. Ra was the sun. Ray was the heat off of it, the hidden one. You feel what I'm saying? Yes, all metaphysics. Yes, all metaphors. But how does that apply to you? You feel what I'm saying? How does that apply to you? Because it definitely does. But we don't want to talk about that. The most simplest things. We have to start with like a basis. You feel what I'm talking about? Find a basis for our foundation. It's so much, bro. You gotta do this, bro. You gotta do that. You gotta do that. Start with yourself. Start with your chakras and start with your shadow. From there, you're gonna know what to do. You're gonna know if I should eat right, or if I should work out, or if I should do this or not. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're gonna get the urge to do that, and the more and more you trust the urges, more and more you listen to that, more and more it's not going to be an urge. It's going to be a voice, a direction, telling you to do this, telling you to do that, telling you to do this. You might look crazy, but that's cool, because the more and more individuals that you come across, right? Because y'all vibrating high, they're gonna be doing the same thing, and naturally, you ain't gonna notice it no more. You feel what I'm talking about? And all the individuals that does not get involved in what you do is going to go in the background. You're not even going to witness them no more. You're not even going to see them no more. That's what's going to happen. I rarely see people. For real, for real. And I know they be around. And I know it sounds crazy. But guess what? You got to think about this. My reality is my reality. I'm telling you. We worry about individuals that don't have the mental capacity, the mental capabilities to deal the power that we have. Literally. How I know that? How I know that to be facts? Because of the technology that they have. The technology that they've been had and been trying to mess with, and that they show us, you feel what I'm talking about, and the stuff that they about to show us. You got phones that mimic your mind. your telepathy, your quantum entanglement. You feel what I'm talking about? All the guns. You know what we can do. We literally can manipulate nature. You feel what I'm talking about? So outside of manipulating nature, you can just bend things with your mind. People like to move their hands and do all that stuff, but all you doing is moving stuff with your mind or whatever. Reason why they be moving their hands or whatever, because it's all about the imagination and seeing it all the way through. You feel what I'm talking about? And moving the energy around. So I'm talking about we got control over all these things and they understand that. So they create different things to combat that. Has it been effective? Yeah, it's been effective because people ain't knew who they was. You feel what I'm talking about? But watch this. You see how scared they get when people start figuring out who they are. It ain't even too many people that really know who they is for real, for real. A lot of people that be like, I'm a god or whatever, you don't even know who you are. You're not a god. You're something more. You feel what I'm saying? And if you thought I was saying it to make you feel better, I definitely wasn't. So sit down, because I don't care. I'm telling you that because if you wasn't, then I wouldn't be. And I wouldn't even be here right now. I'd be a Christian. That's why. Feel what I'm saying? I'd be sitting around somewhere playing video games, digging in my nose. But I'm here because I understand that I'm something greater, and I couldn't be something greater if y'all wasn't. You feel what I'm saying? There's too many individuals that resonate towards this type of information, right? And I'm an individual that I'm loyal, so I like to see things all the way through. You get me? And if if it don't work for me, I'm liable to just do my own thing. You feel what I'm talking about? Because I am open minded as well, and that's what's going on. You feel me? And I thought life was just one direction. I thought I was gonna thug. I thought I was gonna gangbang and just do this, that, and the third. Sell drugs all my life, and it just was what it was, man. You feel me? If somebody say something crazy, I was gonna lay them down. You feel me? The generation that everybody hates, I come before that generation, and I feel like I'm worse than them. You feel me? And spirituality made me just look at it like I don't have time for all that. It's literally more things going on in life than just that. But do that make me better? No, because somewhere back in time, time don't exist. So somewhere outside of time, I chose this specific life. I said this is the role I'm going to play for whatever reason. Now I've come to the understanding as to why I chose the path that I chose early too, and I find that fascinating. You get what I'm saying? But now I'm here. What I'm saying is the information didn't change my life for the better, and it wasn't. I didn't sit down in a church. Nobody sat in front of me and told me this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. I went out there and I got the knowledge. Getting the knowledge definitely means you learn from individuals, right? Read some books or whatever. You do practices. You watch a lecture or whatever, right? But it's different from sitting there religiously watching stuff, regurgitating what people just be saying. Because the problem with regurgitation is this right here. You believe it. And belief is only assumption, but that's fine because belief will get you there to having that full understanding. But you believe it, and that person probably does not believe it. But you believe it so much that you will fight that individual because they don't believe it. That's what a religion person will do. So technically, they don't really have no full understanding of what it is they believe for real, or what it is they dealing with. But an individual like you should, because what you're dealing with is yourself. Know thyself. All of the Ancient mystics was talking about that. Know thyself. The self is you. Who is you? We all reflections of each other, right? But it's one big rainbow, many different shades. You get what I'm saying? So it's many different functions inside this great body, right? Telling you, what role do you play? That's all I'm trying to say, y'all. I ain't even seeing the comments, y'all. People in religions can be demons. They definitely can. They can. I mean, but look, all of us can. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been so, because it's so many years in past and so many things that been created. But the demons, the Damians, was just things that you can, the jinn, you can just, they was aspects of the mind that you can access that had information on many views of life, many perspectives of life, basically. Hidden knowledges and wisdoms. You know what I'm talking about? And to understand that these were just functionings of the mind or whatever, it's just functionings with your, what do you call that? Your spirit body. So the best thing, right? I'd be like, learn self. Okay, cool. Okay, let's say understand the human anatomy. It's a book. I got this one book. It ain't even that long either. And y'all can go find this. I think it's by Manly P. Hall. It's called The Code Anatomy, right? And it don't give a whole understanding, but for people that don't have this understanding, it's decent. You feel what I'm talking about? So you get the you get that or whatever. It talks about the body. It talks about the zodiac, but it tells you like the different functions of the body. You know what I'm talking about? So like the different organs or whatever, and it gives correlations as far as like the Bible and other metaphysical teachings. You know what I'm talking about? And the chakras as well. So, but I would say understand the anatomy. Understand the anatomy, the human anatomy. Then understand the spiritual anatomy. So, like the chakras or whatever and all that. Then understand the organs or whatever. Then understand everything inside of your brain or whatever. Just having that knowledge that all of these things exist and they exist together, whatever, they all the same and they function together. They don't function without each other or whatever. When we have these understandings or whatever and start to think about them, they start to work together. You know what I'm saying? When we put our attention there, you know what I'm talking about, it puts energy there and they start to work in a different way. They're going to work, period, but it'll be subtle. Once you put your awareness there or whatever, it starts to function in a different way. And then you start to apply the techniques to them too. You know what I'm saying? Like the meditations or whatever. So you contemplate on a different chakra or whatever, and you trying to raise energy inside that chakra or balance it out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's decent. I got another book. It's a chakra book. Y'all probably already know about this one though. But it's a chakra book for beginners. But you would think it wasn't talking about for beginners. But it's real good because it gives you a bunch of different ailments and like different like diseases or whatever and all that stuff that deals with every chakra. You know what I'm saying? So you could be going through all these different things or just a few or whatever and all that stuff or whatever. And just to have the understanding that, oh, okay, I got backaches or whatever. So it's dealing with my root chakra. You know what I'm talking about? So maybe you need to sit down on the ground. And it's crazy because you think about it, sitting on the ground, your back straight or whatever. Yeah, that's cool. You ground yourself or whatever, or just standing up with your shoes off or whatever. That helps your back too because your feet is, you know what I'm saying, flat or whatever. It helps your back out or whatever. That's just some little slight or whatever, but it still works like that or whatever. Some people would probably be like, nah, I'm gonna go to the hospital, I'm gonna take an aspirin, yada yada yada. But what you're doing is healing yourself is what I'm getting at. And if you healed yourself, the pain goes away, the chakra is balanced as well. You get what I'm talking about? Anatomy, spiritual anatomy, and what else you said? Just really that. The chakras, you know what I'm saying? The chakras in the zodiac. Cause inside your brain, we got 12 carnal nerves, right? In the middle of that is your pituitary gland. Right behind that or whatever, you got your or like up under that, you got your pineal gland or whatever. And the cardinal nerves is synonymous with the disciples and the zodiacs. The zodiac's supposed to be different animals. Remember, I was telling y'all the mentality of the animals don't change or whatever. But these different nerves or whatever, they go with like the different the taste buds, the smelling, the sight, things like that or whatever. So you apply those certain things with the different animal characteristics with your understanding. You feel what I'm talking about? As far as how you interact. So you know how all the different zodiacs act or whatever, right? But you understand, like, say you an Aquarius or whatever, or you a Leo. Let me say you a Leo, and y'all deal with y'all pride or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Um, Sometimes you can see yourself as a Sagittarius. You know what I'm saying? A person that'll be outgoing, or on Aquarius or whatever. You ain't trying to talk to nobody, or a Virgo. It's my way or the highway. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to be that. You feel what I'm talking about? To balance out your life is what I'm getting at. Because you want to become the 13th zodiac. The 13th zodiac has no name. Maybe like God has no name. It has no name. It's just the 13th zodiac. It is the Christ. They just call it that, the anointed one. But what is the anointed one? You are the anointed one once you make it to this level. You get what I'm saying? So these 12 disciples were actually 12 animal characteristics, what I'm talking about, that the Christ were to discipline. You were to discipline. You know what I'm talking about? That you carry with you every single day. You know what I'm talking about? But we got zodiac signs, and your zodiac sign, if you understand the concept of an archon, they run under the concept of an archon. A concept of an archon is basically a jailer, something that rules over your soul. So you have a zodiac, and it definitely applies, because whatever you are, if you check it out what it is or whatever, you probably act like that. So what I'm saying is, you do not allow that to run your life. You feel what I'm saying? Like me, I'm a Leo, and pride definitely ruled my life for a long time. You get what I'm saying? So what do I mean? Like, in school, I didn't ask for like help. I didn't ask for what do you call that? Um, anything, for pride at a very young age, for reasons why I have no idea. Why? Because I was a Leo. Um, I didn't go for opportunities because I said I was quote unquote shy. Pride. I just didn't want to go out here for that reason or whatever. That reason, this reason, that reason. But it was always pride. It was always pride until I realized, right, who I was, what I was, whatever, the kind of person I was or whatever. I can go out, I can do this, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta believe in yourself, have faith in yourself. Things started working for me, basically. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Now, they say a Leo's supposed to be this, a good sign, or, you know what I'm saying, great personality, the light, this, that, and third, but you deal with pride, and you see with pride didn't allow me to do certain things in my life because I had pride. You know what I'm talking about? But I had to be a different type of sign. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you got to look inside your actual natal chart. Like, um, see what your moon sign is. You feel what I'm talking about? Your moon sign, your ascendant sign, things like that over there. That's how you really help yourself, basically. But what I'm getting at is become a different sign, one that's outgoing or whatever. Things of that nature is what I'm saying. You know? So that's pretty much what's going on. If y'all want the book though, just hit me up. You know what I'm saying? If you can't find it. It's on the internet. I try to, like, if I bring a book up, unless it's one of them cold ones, which I got a few of them, like, physically. I got a lot of books, but I got like a few cold ones that I, you know what I'm saying, I would really recommend. But unless I don't have a PDF or something like that or whatever, I'm not gonna recommend the book, because I like for y'all to be able to have easy access. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't got easy access, why tell you? You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm not the only one that got it. You get what I'm saying? That's not what's going on here. That would defeat the purpose of everything that I said in the beginning. I don't hold everything. You feel what I'm talking about? But guess what I do hold everything of? My story. That's the only thing I got. That's the only thing I got is my story. You feel what I'm talking about? Our story. Ain't no our story. That sound crazy, don't it? That sound bogus. But it's true. Because watch this. When you go to bed at night, who you going to bed with? I'm not talking about your spouse. I'm talking about yourself. Because if you don't come back, if you don't come back, right, you leaving by yourself. What do I mean by if you don't come back? The Egyptians, they believed that every time you slept, your ka, or the immortalized part of you, left, right? The immortalized party. So this is supposed to be like your soul. It left and went elsewhere. So you soul travel. You know what I'm talking about? But obviously, you know what I'm talking about, it don't happen no more. They had, what do you call that? They had inscriptions all over the tombs or whatever that would be able to guide, you feel what I'm saying, the Ka back if it got lost. Because if it got lost and got cut off, you know what I'm talking about, at the wrong time, then what would happen? Fatality. You feel what I'm saying? Fatality. But these type of individuals, they put them inside the tombs or whatever with more inscriptions. One of them, it said this official should be given 1,000 bread and 1,000 cases of beer, I think, something like that or whatever. But that was like so the cock can feed off of that or whatever if nobody would come and give offerings. You know how people go to a funeral and the people forget about them? Same thing. They understood this already. But we had inscriptions. You feel I'm talking about, incantations and spells that we would put around the temples so that our spirit can feed off that or whatever, so we can be prepared for the journey. Because the journey don't stop. The journey don't stop while you're here. We also had incantations. Listen, watch this. We also had incantations where we created entities like servants. So it was a spell that it would create servants or whatever that would be with you in the afterlife. You feel I'm talking about, carry out things and do things for you. Because you know how in movies they be like, oh well, this person, something happened to this person that was powerful, or whatever. So we gonna summon this person or whatever at their graveside or whatever. So they was doing things like that. Probably not in that nature, but that's how movies put it or whatever. So we had it. This is how strategic we was. We had it to where we put spells up to where when you come and try to summon our spirit or whatever, one of our servants would come up. That's what the servants was for. They handle everything for us. So a lot of people, when they be like, "Oh, you don't never know what you tap it into," that be really true to a certain extent. You never really know for real, for real. As an ancient people, we had it sold up. This how real it was. You feel what I'm talking about? We had it sold up. You feel me? And earlier I was like, man, we only dealing with the past 6,000 years, right? We is. All of this information prior to 6,000 years was available to everybody. Meaning the way to access oneself in a public fashion, everybody was just in tune and be able to do this or whatever. That was the thing. It became ancient in the time of Egypt. Why? Maybe because that was the decline phase. How can you say Egypt was a decline phase? Why do you think we created all the monuments? I just told you, everything that you see around you existed in the mental plane. Everything existed before all of this. Society tried to tell you that, oh, they didn't have what we have, so they was primitive. We had everything. We had all of this and more inside of our minds. We didn't care about this. We didn't care to fix it up and make it look pretty so you can want to stay inside of it. The thing is, we understood, like I just said before, we were going to go down a decline. You feel what I'm talking about? And fall again in frequency. We was already light beings, primordial beings, and now we fell to a physical reality. You feel what I'm talking about? And then we understood we were going to fall into a further, basically a dead race, mentally. So what we do? We built monuments. We created, what's that word? Mystery systems, or what do you call that? They have religions now. You see what I'm talking about? All these things set up for you to remember who you is, not to get stuck in it. That's what I'm saying. Not to get stuck in it. But as I say, nobody wants to hear that. They want me to say, hey, somebody finna come for you. You don't believe in God, it ain't God. You believe in God, it is God. Or you don't believe in them, it's Mother God. It's coming. You know what that means? That means you're not a God. That means you are a puny human. We all are, right? Fuck it. We puny humans. These aliens finna come, and if these aliens come, they're gonna terrorize all of us. That's what's going on, right? That's what everybody telling me. You got Joe Schmo over here preaching the good gospel. You got the great power with the fist up preaching. We should all go back to somewhere that we know we not even from. Our ancestors ain't even from. Is it crazy to believe that we know outside of everything that we've been everywhere? I'm talking about all throughout this planet. We've been everywhere. But it's crazy to believe that some people that look like us originated here. Anywho, go somewhere else. Then you got people saying, well, don't believe that. Don't believe that. Believe in the fact that we gods, but some other gods finna come get us. We the gods that the other gods finna come save. We the gods that the other gods finna come save. Come on, man. How does that sound, bro? Stop and listen. You see it lightning? It's not even raining. I'm telling you. Where my water at, man? Is it crazy to believe that you are all powerful? Or is that too dangerous to think? I like to think that they can't do nothing to me. Who is they? Whoever that these people is trying to enforce on us. Because I don't know a they. I stopped looking a long time ago because I understood you would never be able to see them. But this is another understanding. If you want to, it's that easy. It's that easy. We have the power of mental manipulation. You can close your eyes, right? And have a separate experience from your physical experience. Now, watch this, okay? That's subjective. Okay, cool. Watch this. Watch this. Let me teach you something to where you will find a what do you call it, objective thing or whatever, right? That's the opposite version, right? Lay down flat with your arms on your side, right? Look at your like close your eyes, look at your forehead, and imagine. When I say look at your forehead, look up, right? So don't just try to look out your eyes. Look up like you're trying to look inside of your forehead, like you're looking at your third eye, right? And imagine your third eye becoming white, like with all white light, like they always say. You feel what I'm talking about? You feel what I'm saying? And then imagine and like feel everything in your body, like feel your arms, your legs, everything. I'm talking about try to feel everything. Try to have the whole sensation of feeling of like feel all of that. Feel your from your toes all the way up to your head with light. But you want to feel it though. You want to feel that sensation. You feel what I'm talking about? And once all that's filled up, raise it outside of yourself. Or just imagine a chain or something. If that doesn't work for you, imagine a chain and you rising up that chain or whatever. Okay? This is the thing though. You have to be aware of your house. You have to know what your house look like, what's going on in your house and all that. You can't be one of them people that just don't know what's going on, because some people is like that, okay? So once you do that or whatever, let's say grab some dice, some cards, anything small or whatever, put it on top of something high. You feel what I'm saying? On a shelf, anything like that or whatever. You feel me? Write something on it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And this is what you want to do. You want to do what I just said, astral project or whatever, right? But you want to picture yourself in that realm. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's different dimensions. It's real. It's a dimension called real time, meaning everything going on in this. So you basically like a spirit that's like, what do they call, like a spirit? I ain't gonna say a poltergeist, but you like a spirit that can manipulate things in this nature. You're not in a different dimension. Okay, so once you do all that or whatever, go to that same spot that I just told you to do. You feel what I'm talking about? Where you put the dice, the card, or whatever. You feel what I'm talking about? And look at it. When you look at it, if it's the same thing that you said or whatever, bring that back with the memory or whatever, and you know what's really going on for real, for real. You can really do anything. You can truly do anything. You feel what I'm talking about? But I'm not focused on trying to watch this. This is the crazy thing. It's crazy. It's crazy. We push so much peace. We push this. We push that. We push this. Whatever. Oh, we got to be in harmony. We got to be doing it. But you want to take your planet back. You got to get violent to do that. You have to. You have to. You think I don't want to? But how I'm going to do it? I'm going to do it in a natural way. Our natural way. And the most naturalist way is going inside of yourself. You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. Anybody trying to tell you that? They're trying to rile you up. They're trying to rile you up. And it's spirits all around you every single day that feeds off of that. We've been getting fed off of for thousands of years. Physically, spiritually, mentally, financially, all of that, bro. I'm trying to tell you. And am I telling you you should feel some type of way about that? Yes. Am I telling you you should do something about that? Yes. What am I telling you to do? Just go on yourself. Stop for a second and become aware of what's being presented to you and how can it directly affect you. We do not seek instant gratification, but what's being presented to you is it directly affecting you? Because that's how it's being presented to you, as if it's going to be directly affecting you, right? People don't really care. I'm for real, for real. People don't really care. You got to grow to want to care. You know what I'm saying? You got to grow to want to care. What do I mean by that? Um, we conscious, we spiritual, we this, we that. What about the people that's that's out there that we disagree with? And by what do I mean by disagree? I'm talking about we so hot because it's many ways to look at this. You got the thug, you got the homeless person, you got the religious person, you got the hooker, you got all of that. You supposed to be divine, you supposed to be this, that, and the third or whatever. The best thing we can do, right, is not try to infringe or impose our ideas or whatever, because we already know that they're just naturally living out their life. So you got to support that individual. What do I mean by that? I don't mean by, oh yeah, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You just got to appreciate that person for who that person is. When you do that, things start to happen in your life. Why do I say that? Because the more things that we dwell on or whatever, right, that's the more things that we bring towards us or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you're not thinking about you. You're thinking about how I'm going to fix this, how I'm going to fix that, how I'm going to fix this. What if that's not even your problem? But what is your problem? You don't know because you're worried about somebody else's issues. That's what religion do for you. It had you in a confusion. Ain't nobody want to hear that though. That's all I'm saying. You can't read that out no book. You can't read it out no book. But I love what the books be saying. Cause I get it. Go inside. You know what I'm talking about? It's only you. I used to hate when they be like, man, it's everybody, it's this and that, because that's how the books be saying it. But everybody can do this. Everybody can go inside themselves. Religions don't want everybody to be powerful. Religions only give you so much power. right? So they put you in a state of order, but you a chaos being. You able to assume or accumulate all, all energy, all information, all knowledge, and convert it, right? I'm under the impression that all of these people that's coming out, they know this, whether they are elite or not. I don't trust them. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's the key. I done been places. Listen, I done been places, and I ain't never been off of America's soil. I done been places, and I only been a few states in the American soil, but I done been places, right? I done had experiences, and that's the only thing that matters to me. With that understanding, I'm able to go back so far and see a few things, right? A few things about myself that I'm able to see now, as well as the world. This shit is a reoccurring thing. It be themes going on. You know what I'm saying? People been getting stuck in religions forever, and probably will be continue. Just saying, man. I I look for like the contradictions, because everything is one big contradiction. So first you have to uh, acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge that when you're studying this spirituality thing, it's going to be a contradiction. Ooh, it's subjective. That's cool. But when you deliberately contradict yourself, telling me I'm a God, but if this God don't do what this says, um, I'm not gonna survive. First and foremost, gods don't die. Who is greater than I? Who is greater than I? Who is greater than you? Meaning I. It has to be somebody or something greater than you for that to happen. Am I lying? But who is that? Your whole life you thought that was God. And then you realize that you're a God. But then another God tells you, basically in so many words, that a more supreme God is going to take you out if you don't listen. What? I could have stayed, bro. I could have stayed game banging, bro. I could have stayed game banging, bro. I was good at that. I was great. What people do now in game banging is not game banging. I don't know what they doing. We was organized, doing our thing. You feel me? But the information, the knowledge got a hold of me. The calling, I answered the phone. I picked it up. You feel what I'm talking about? As thugged out as I was always the one that was saying, like, bro, aliens have to exist, right? They like, bro, you crazy. Bro, why is you always talking about weird shit? I'm like, bro, no, listen, check me out, right? The universe so big, and we can't be the only ones that exist. I used to always say this. I'm like 13 years old, talking to my homies. They dumb as hell. They don't even listen to me. You know what I'm talking about? But I was always advanced. I see why now. But what you're not about to tell me is I'm this all powerful being. I created this this universe. I created this. But in order for me to leave this universe, right, I have to abide by something that someone done wrote about. And probably, right, probably, you ready for this? Probably didn't even achieve the feats that we are achieving now. Because we are what's that word? We stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. So 9 times out of 10, what we doing right now, our ancestors wasn't doing. There was a time when our ancestors was higher, right, than what we are. But you see, remember what I say about the law of the rhythm and all that. We coming back into that. But there was a time when our ancestors wasn't like this. You know what I'm talking about? We ain't like it now. But now we are experiencing more feats, more heights in our spirituality and our power. You feel what I'm talking about? Physically, spiritually, and mentally. We are doing this thing around here, right? Most of us are doing this thing by ourselves. Some of us see that, like, yeah, let me let me go ahead and get this. Listen, you should be doing this. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. They're gonna tell you what you shouldn't be doing is what you do every single day. That then helped you achieve what you achieving. What do you really want? Do you know? Do you even know what you want? I want peace and understanding of myself. Why do I want peace? I don't want peace because, ooh, peace, and it's been war. I want peace because I live the life of chaos. What do I mean by that? I understand chaos is truly like the primal aspect of who we are. I'm talking about what we know to be chaos. I lived that. I loved it. I walk around mad. You look at me, right? Because I want you to say something to me. I'm liable to smack the shit out you. You feel what I'm saying? I want that. You whoop my ass, that's cool. But ain't no winning. Ain't no winning for real, for real. Because I don't never stop. This is the type of person I was, right? For no reason, just angry at the entire world. Until I sat down and I studied myself. You get me? Now all I want is peace. Because all that chaos that I was living then took a toll on me. And because I'm aware of myself, I'm able to witness the effects that it had, right? Not just now, but over the years or whatever. I wasn't paying attention then. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Some people is different. You know what I'm talking about? So, I mean but that's the thing. You know, you talk to a person, a therapist, your friend, this, that, and the third or whatever. I mean, I think it's cool to talk to individuals that you know. You know what I'm talking about? But if a person ain't trying to work on themselves or whatever, don't take no advice. You know what I'm saying? Because the best advice is advice that you get from yourself. You get what I'm talking about? But you don't listen to that, right? So I say, if you are working on yourself and you give advice to other individuals, whatever, always listen to, you know what I'm saying, what you're giving out or whatever, because you can be utilizing that for yourself if you haven't already done that, what you're supposed to be doing. But I'm just saying, some of us just be, and it is what it is because we are trying to help individuals and they come out of the capacity of our heart. But ultimately, you want to heal that heart of yours. You want to heal that mind of yours, that soul of yours, that spirit of yours. You know what I'm talking about? You want to do that. You want to build your house up first that you can live in, you safe and secure in, before you want to build anybody else's house. Because if you have your house built up and they need somewhere to stay, of course you're going to let them in if that's the type of person you are. If you a giving individual, yeah. But right now you can't give. You got to be greedy with it, which they tell you not to be. You know what I'm talking about? Greedy don't mean just holding it off as far as like, I ain't going to tell this person. You can tell a person something. You know what I'm talking about? What I'm saying is you got to want it all. I want the knowledge. I want all the knowledge that can help me out. Look at it like that. And then you become fat with knowledge. Y'all know the different depictions of Buddha wasn't because he was eating and all that stuff. It was because he consumed a lot of knowledge. So he underwent a spiritual pregnancy, basically. So many words. Because you got to think, if you understand the life of Buddha for real, Buddha went through, what do you call that? Because this is an individual that's supposed to have been a prince that was supposed to be like the emperor of all of that land out there, whatever, that seen the destruction, seen the poverty, seen all of the stuff that was going on in the world and left. And then he was one of them people that wasn't eating. He was a breatharian. He practiced many forms of mystic forms, basically, until he became who he's supposed to have been, meditating under the Buddha tree and just going within himself. You know, different aspects of his mind or whatever, lower aspects of his mind testing him or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And him just having his foundation and figuring out that whole thing, that whole doctrine. After that, you know what I'm saying, going further into the story or whatever, in the astral realms or whatever, because he had supposed to just have, when he got his knowledge, he left. He wasn't the Buddha, like how everybody know. He left and did what he did. But all the other Buddhas, because you know they say it was other Buddhas and all of that stuff. It was. That's a collective consciousness. All the Buddhas came to him and told him, like, look, the way that you got it, you got to be able to teach it. So this is why I say every single thing that you see right now is basically something that came out of a person or a people. You know what I'm talking about? Buddha is one example. But all these other mystery systems or whatever is many examples of a system, somebody going inside of themselves based off of everything else that you see, basically nature. Going further back, we have more and more natural systems or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But to this day, this is what we got. You know what I'm talking about? And we're in the information age. You got to be able to utilize everything. Can't nobody be trying to cut your water off. They trying to cut your water off. I don't care who they is. When they tell you don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, you was a God. That's why I come to tell you. You thought I was going to be like, hey, listen, divine. Listen, beloved. No. Because that's not how he is. You feel what I'm talking about? We know how he is. We get rowdy, we get loud, and we get active. You feel what I'm talking about? You forgot how you was because you done been indoctrinated or whatever. You can't be yourself. Kids be jumping around, doing all that stuff, having fun. You was a big old kid. They tell you to go inside of yourself, but you can't do that. I got to be serious. I got to do all this. No, you need to be healed. You need to have some fun. You need to laugh. You need to jump around. Talking about move that energy. That's what I'm saying. We too serious. Look, y'all. This what's going on. That's what's going on. Man, watch out. Watch out, man. I'm trying to tell you. Watch out. Hold on, y'all. They be trying to get you to, you know what I'm saying? They be trying to get you to do some frivolous things, man. You know? So, since, I don't know how many years this is. I don't care. But since 1913 all the way to now. So however many years that is. So from then to now, because that's when like all the conscious stuff really, really happened for us. As far as like black liberation, the conscious community, all of that stuff really happened from then to now, right? Y'all finna really tarnish all of that? They did all of that to take us away from somebody controlling our minds or whatever, for y'all to come in and try to control our minds. Get out of here. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. Don't nobody want to hear that. Y'all want me to tell you that somebody coming in, somebody this, somebody that. Do it sound, first and foremost, it probably sound like I'm saying none of this exists. No, it exists. But it's based off of perspective. You feel what I'm talking about? You know how in a school, you go in a schoolroom or whatever, it's light in there. If you turn another light on, you will be able to see some light in there. You'll be able to see a little change. But if the room was dark, you turn the light on, right? And you put some light on, put some light on there. It'll make a bigger change than that is what I'm getting at or whatever. It's really based off perspective. You feel what I'm talking about? It's so many people around the world right now that's seeing two suns. It's so many people that ain't seeing two suns. If it was two suns, right? If it was two suns, I ain't saying it's not. I'm saying you have to gain that perspective is what I'm saying, right? But because you can't, you really can't, what's that word? You can't deny it's multiple people that's not connected. We know we is, but it's multiple people that's not connected. That's dropping so many videos with two suns, and some of us go outside and you only see one of them. It's perspective. That's what you're trying to gain. You know what I'm talking about? And if you're not gaining that, it's because you ain't doing something right within yourself. You feel what I'm talking about? Not because what dude said, or what she said, or what the Bam said. You feel what I'm talking about? Ain't no living ancestors, man, with no physical bodies.
The ancestors in the ancestor realm, and they walk with you. You feel what I'm talking about? These are elders. Elders. That's it. Ancestors walk with you. We got specific ancestors that's like our blood ancestors. Then we got other cosmic ancestors that's still our blood ancestors. Then we got universal ancestors as well. Which ones is coming to you, giving you information based upon who you are? So you know what I mean when I say that. Cause how they put it, they ain't doing the work. You feel what I'm talking about? Take they motherfucking badge. You feel what I'm saying? Take they shit and get up out of here with that, man. I'm trying to tell you, Joe. All I'm saying is, you got it. You feel me? All the power is inside of y'all. You know, and if you allow anybody in this day and age to take that from you, you feel what I'm saying? Then you might as well go to the store, pick up your Bible. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about really read it and just listen to what everybody. Look, go get, like, if you ain't got no job, go get one, because you know you got to pay your tithes and all that stuff or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And really live by that. If you're not living by that 100%, if you're not living by it 100%, then you shouldn't even be, you know what I'm talking about? And that's with anything. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, a few years ago, my stepdad, my mom, them, they be like, you just too, and they don't say spiritual. You just too in the, what they say ooka spooks. They say you just too in the ooka spooks. Like you don't never just come down. You just be always up there. I said yes. See, at first, I used to be like, damn, maybe they right. Maybe they wrong. I got to be there all the time. This is what it is. This is me. You feel what I'm talking about? You have to be living that. Yes, I have balance. Yes, you find balance. But when it, like you ready for this? When your spiritual life supersedes your physical life, it just becomes more better. You feel what I'm talking about? It becomes more better. You know what I'm talking about? I appreciate all the love, y'all, for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? The biggest and greatest earth that matters, right? Because you know we like to separate things, is the physical body. So look at it like this. We say they done took the planet over. They done invaded. Parasites. Yada, 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 right? You look at the food you eat. Look at the things you do, how you think. We don't think how we supposed to think. What do I mean by that? Our natural way of thinking, right? The natural way how we think in our mind. We use, not only do we use our intellect, we use our intuition as well. You feel what I'm talking about? We use both halves of the brain. We're not doing that. And we use our imagination. You feel what I'm saying? So they got us thinking a whole different way. Things you take in, the things you eat, all of that stuff. Look at your body. Your body done been compromised. Take back that planet is what I'm saying. How you gonna take back a planet? You don't even know if this is a planet or not. If we understood what was around us and about us, then we couldn't be living on a planet, right? You know what I'm talking about? And we definitely our own world. And if you leave this place, right? If you leave this place, this realm, you feel what I'm talking about, with that understanding, whatever, that becomes your actual reality. You feel what I'm saying? Soul Shine just said we are our own world. Inside of your subconscious mind, which holds your dreams, you feel what I'm talking about? And the projection that you have on reality. If you change that and shift that with your conscious mind, align that, you know, go to these different dimensions that exist inside of you or whatever, and live out the experience, how you're supposed to live out the experience, meaning gain the information you're supposed to gain and bring it back here to the present waking world, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? You align your life all together perfectly. Is what I'm saying. You're not just no human being. Many worlds, like she just said. I'm trying to tell y'all. But look, y'all. I think I done said it 1,000 times enough already. I just had to stress this, right? The 5%ers, nations of gods and earth used to be like, build or destroy. That's the supreme mathematic. That's the number 8. Build or destroy. Build or destroy is in order to, because we'd have been given something to build with. So that means the body of information that we was given to go about life. We've been given that to build a foundation. That foundation has not been stable in our lives. You know what I'm saying? So we done turned away from that, and now we seek other information, right? Okay, now this information that you like, that you resonate with, or whatever, and all that stuff, you have to first destroy the foundation that you was sitting upon. You know what I'm talking about? And in destroying that, yes, you will fall to a low, and you have to understand what it feels like to be that low. You feel what I'm talking about? And raise yourself up. We don't want to do that. No, you ain't starting from the high. Because when you start from the high, where do you go? You feel what I'm talking about? We starting from the bottom up. That's what it is. That was the whole thing. Because listen, don't nothing ever happen to you to begin with. You are the light. You know what I'm talking about? You are the light. Yes, we are a multi-dimensional beings. Like I said before, the eukaryotic cell is a multi-organism. The prokaryotic cell, which is the light, the solar aspect, what you don't see, is a unicell, right? That unicell can't have this experience without having this body. The human is the eukaryotic cell. And everything inside of it deals with, you know what I'm talking about, the light that's inside of you. Well, you know, your light. So all I'm saying is understand. Understand, overstand. You, though. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't no new knowledge shaking. You know what I'm saying? As far as, ain't nothing more important than you. Right now, ever. Ain't nothing ever been more important than you. Don't think I'm just telling you that. I'm telling you that because it's the truth. If you don't think that way about yourself, then you crazy. Because why? You know what I'm saying? Why? Let me tell you this. I don't age, right? I don't age. I don't like that concept or whatever. But before I became aware of who I was or whatever, I was like, I don't like to celebrate my birthday. I don't do all that. Which some people be like, I don't like to do that neither, or whatever. But think about this concept here, or whatever. I was unconscious of who I was, and I was not celebrating my birthday, which meant it symbolized me not celebrating myself, me not caring about myself or whatever. Spirituality made me look at my birthday as something important to me. I'm celebrating myself. You know what I'm talking about? So it's kind of like we be out here, they tell you, save your money for this holiday, save your money for that holiday, save your money for that holiday, or whatever. The greatest holiday is you. You feel what I'm talking about? You. And then we can get into the realm of every day I wake up, every day I wake up and I give my presence to the world. That's a holiday. That's how great you is. That's how you got to feel. You know what I'm talking about? Ooh, he just saying words. He just sound crazy. These words that you say over and over again are what we call affirmations. But you got to get that out of a book. The greatest thing you can do is create your own affirmations. Create your own affirmations with your intention. Say it repetitiously. Right? Anybody going to tell you that? And I'm going to tell you this. It gets inside of your subconscious mind. What you're doing is talking to your subconscious mind. The higher aspect of who you are. It's only your subconscious, meaning it says it sits under your conscious mind because of where it's at. But it's actually your higher self. This is why the ancients descended into the Duat instead of ascending. The only ascension was coming here with the better understanding about this life and what to do and to go back. All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, y'all. That's all I'm saying. But look, y'all the ones that's important. Y'all the gods or the cosmic beings. You are the cosmos. I love you. I really can't tell you nothing else. Nothing more than that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'll be back with some more shit, but I hope y'all really got that though, for real, for real. Everybody that comes to you, they're not gonna come to you with the best intentions. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that seem like they are, it's gonna always sound like, yeah, come over here and get this gold, buddy. Come over and get this whatever. All your dreams and whatever and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be ones that come to you in the form of the ugly. You feel what I'm talking about? You just gotta be able to withstand what's being presented. You know what I'm saying? All that ugliness is really pure beauty. You just gotta be able to see it. You done been away from it for so long. You know what I'm saying? That's it, that's all. This world, no matter what you see, the flowers, all that, everything stank and everything is ugly. You feel what I'm talking about? Based upon it coming outside of you. And the physical world, what do I mean by that? The physical world is the excrement. The third dimension is the excrement of the fourth dimension. So anything that comes outside of you is an excrement, basically. It's the shit, yeah, you know what I'm talking about? But it's just something lower. You know what I'm talking about? All these things are tools. From what comes out of us to what we utilize and have access to be able to make things come out of us. Ooh, y'all see the bats out here? They're my little homies. But yeah, man, listen, I gotta go. Y'all be safe. You feel what I'm talking about? I love y'all. Thank y'all for the love. Look into yourself. You feel me? Look, listen to this. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I was never into this. I was just talking to nature the other day. Like I was talking to the trees. Because I didn't think this was real. I was asking the trees to touch on me and shit. They was doing it. It was some freaky shit. Go talk to nature, y'all. Go talk to nature. I'm dead ass. I love it. For real. Here, where I'm at right now, what do I mean here? Not in North Carolina, I'm talking about in life. You know what I'm saying? I love it here, y'all. Y'all be safe, though. Peace.